Can you monetize? Hey, can you monetize? Thank you, thank you. Aya, how you doing, Aya? Wake up, wake up. Chicken Chihuahua, chicken Chihuahua.
Yeah, she cried. She didn't see you.
Oh, yeah, what you gonna do? I had to run to, work before I get the love letter. Hi, how you doing?
What doing?
Give me a kiss.
What doing?
What doing? I'm going to work. Going to work. What doing? What's up, skinny? What you doing? Where are you? Are you home?
Yes, I like home.
Where are you? Are you home?
Yes.
Where are you going? You going to the other park?
Yes.
Oh,
Now you're gonna go to the other part.
oh, you're gonna make up balloons. Balloons. Yeah, make balloons.
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
Mama's here.
Mama is there? Okay, enjoy. Thank you. We love you more. I love you in the morning. I love you in the evening. Can you sing I love you in the morning, I love you in the evening? Can you sing us a song? What song can you sing? ABCD or what do you call that song? Alexa,
Where are you going?
play the End Go Marching. I'm going to work. Can you play the End Go Marching? ריי, שופט למבו, מה נשמע? Good morning, ריי. Say hello to Ray. Say good morning, Ray. Can you say good morning? Can you say good morning, everybody? Say good morning. What are you doing? You cooking?
Yes.
Are you cooking pasta?
Yes, they're cooking over there.
What they cooking? Pasta?
Yes, this is cooking better over there.
Okay, very nice. How much? What are you cooking? Pasta?
Yes. Better over there.
How is the bird? How's the bird house?
There's the bird's house over there.
Any birds coming?
Yes, the bird's coming.
Okay.
And you bring the sheep?
Very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it.
Yes, I'll bring the sheep.
Bring the chicks. Bring the Chihuahua chick. Oh, you wanted to bring the chicks? Okay. How many you want? 2 or 3?
2?
2? Okay, I'm gonna bring 2 chicks. Okay. I have to go see where they sell live chicks. You gonna take care of them?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe they'll give you eggs. Do you want the chicken too or just the chicks?
Chicks?
Just the chicks. Just the chicks, not the chicken? Okay. No problem. Where are you gonna put them? In a box?
Yes.
In a shoebox. But don't put them on the bed, they're gonna poo all over. Sound good to me. Okay. What that noise? Mama is cooking. Making too much noise. Okay, I'm gonna go to work soon.
Now to bring the sheep.
I'll bring the chicks, okay. How many chicks you want?
I need a treaty.
2 chicks? No problem. Hakuna Matata. Yeah, tell Mama to make pancake, okay? Tell Mama I want pancake.
Allegedly wielded a hatchet at a person at an ATM in Manhattan under arrest. Police say 37-year-old Aaron Garcia of Yonkers is facing charges including attempted murder. A Queens man is charged with 27 counts of animal cruelty. The Queens DA says Andrew Caddo was arraigned yesterday on charges of illegal dog fighting and failure to provide food and water. That's your 77-second WABC News Update. Forecast from the Ramsey Subaru Weather Center. We have a 40% chance of a shower or thunderstorm today. Mostly cloudy skies and a high of 87. Traffic and transit is next, where the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Don't miss the hottest parties in the Hamptons. This weekend, Friday, August 20th, is Grill Hampton. And Saturday, August 21st, is Taste of Two Forks at Nova's Art Project and Watermill. Food all night from the East End and NYC Top Chef. Unlimited wine, cocktails, and craft beer. Music and dancing at a beautiful open-air venue with tickets starting at only $99. Go to danstaste.com for tickets and more info at danstaste.com.
Today at noon, he's the energetic voice for conservatives, speaking the language of America's young people. He's an author, named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, and he's one of the top 10 most engaged Twitter handles in the world. He's Charlie Kirk, and he's delivering in-depth political and cultural analysis on the Charlie Kirk Show.
There really isn't an inclination or a desire to find solutions.
Today at noon, the Charlie Kirk Show on Talk Radio 77 WABC.
All right, here's Joe Nolan with traffic and transit.
All right, Deb, first the good news. Northbound 287 and 36B in Morristown, that earlier jackknife tractor trailer was there when we came in this morning. That has been cleared, but now a bad accident on 287 on the eastbound side. You're bumper to bumper from 684 over to I-95. Again, a cement truck is involved in this. Multi-vehicles, it's serious injuries apparently. Right and center lanes are out as you come on up to that. We have a problem on Breckman southbound on White Plains Road. Looks like that is cleared. Westbound LIE at the Cross Island, an accident, left lane out. And alternate side of the street parking rules once again today are in effect. I'm Joe Nolan with Traffic Talk Radio 77 WABC.
We are New York, 30 and 6 in the morning. Talk Radio.
WABC.
Yeah, people still want to see LeVar Burton get that job on Jeopardy. I stole LeVar one night. I wasn't all that impressed, but people really seem to like him. But this guy, Mike Richards, who seems to be the replacement along with Mayim Bialik, philosopher there, and also part of that, what's the other show she's on? Not that 7-inch show. Yeah. So I guess Richards and Bialik are supposed to replace this guy, but weeks ago, I told you that Richards had all these issues where he wouldn't hire a woman because she was pregnant, and then he was saying some nasty things about women. So, like, every single week, something else comes out about this guy Richards. This guy's got no chance of getting that job. So bad. But when it's on a recording, that's when it really screws you. No. And we have a recording. Well, you can't deny it. You can always deny. Once there's a recording, video or audio, it makes it tougher. Yeah, his name is Mike Richards, and he had a podcast called The Random Show. And apparently, he referred to his assistant as Bruce Forrest. mean, why criticizing a women's weight stuff like that? It's just a silly statement.
Yeah.
You know, she's like Matt Meany's in the booth, right?
Yeah.
We call him a booth whore. You know, he calls her a booth whore. Okay.
I was thinking more along the lines of like a bottle girl type thing where you just
Okay, she could have been like a beauty. You walk into one of those really seedy orange naked girls, snowflakes, and you put in a quarter and the curtain comes up and I don't know. I don't think that's what he was referring to. But either way, let's listen to some of it. Just, you know, put my ass. That's not a job being a CES.
What is a boot space?
A boot slut is someone who dresses up in very provocative clothes. Well, she was in a wet t-shirt contest. Okay, all right. Explain that. I mean, what makes a girl who dresses like a slutty boot? So she was, maybe it was some sort of carnival where they did stuff like that. And like he said, they poured water on her t-shirt. She wore no bra, something like that. Who knows? So there's that. And also there was some anti-Semitic stuff. We don't have that, but we do have this thing. Everyone's gonna wear one pieces and look really frumpy and overweight.
It's so funny because no one's overweight,
But they all look terrible in the picture. They look fat and like not good in the picture. It's bad. You look great. You look like a Sports Illustrated model, and then you've got one-piece Malone on either side of you, which is just horrible.
people literally gonna be like, walk up to you with a flag and be like,
Hey, what's up? I'm wearing a smock, and I'm gonna give her a smack. Where's this new? What? That's crazy. Yeah. Is there any more? I got one more, yeah. Have you ever taken a nude picture?
I'm not answering that question to you, like Richard.
Answer it right now to your fans. Have you? Yes, you have. Sounds like the dad of me. Who's the girl? Like booby pictures? What are you looking at? She's taking booby. Is she hot?
she's curious. Like
Here's the picture. She's not hot. And the voice is almost as bad as the nanny. But so the Jewish thing was he responded to a remark about big noses, saying, and this is according to the Daily Mail, Ixnay on the Ozne, she's not a Uj. Quote unquote. We don't have the tape, but they have it on tape. So that's disqualifying my kid. I mean, I know it's 2014, and we don't condone it. I mean, the cancel culture, but he's working for a very, very PC. That's the problem. Outfit in Jeopardy, and they don't. They don't. In other words, they wouldn't give my guy a shot from Seinfeld, the dentist. What's his name? The guy who hosts the dog show. Scott O'Hara. Politics. Is that true? That is true. All right. Well, this guy wasn't politics. This guy's just a. But a wild.
Yo.
Bad and fine. And you're talking about noses and Jews and stuff like that. I don't see them. I don't know. It doesn't work for Jeopardy. Right. You know, Wheel of Fortune. He can host that show. No. You don't. Yeah. I would imagine any of those things. Listen, one more thing, guys. Before we do have a full board of calls, but Fredo and his sidekick Don Lemon, this one of the dumbest guys on TV. Anyway, they were talking about the subway. Somebody on a mask. Somebody on the subway that told somebody else to take off a mask or something like that. I don't know. They explain it in the clip. Take a listen though. But the point of this is the tough guys think what's for themselves. Take a listen. I saw this guy in the video of this guy going after this woman on a train, saying, "Take off your mask on the subway." Yeah. I believe in freedom. I believe in freedom. I think it's free to put on her face whatever the hell she wants. I know. I can't believe in the New York City subway that guy didn't get tuned up. By the way, I'm glad he didn't. I know that wouldn't be the best of us. But I gotta tell you, he might have been on there. I'm not kidding. He said he was there. Toby and the Wigway song, "Try Jesus." You ever hear that song? Try Jesus, don't try me. Because I throw hands. Yeah, I throw hands. But as I always say, play lotto. Don't play team. Why are you not here? Don Lemon said that I was on the subway the other day, and I saw a guy say to a woman, and then they said, if I was on the subway, he would have got tuned up. You were on the subway. You said what? Just a couple of stupid lines. And Fredo, of course, he's the moron that was out infected without a mask, and then somebody came up to him and said, yo, don't you think you should be wearing a mask? That's the Atlanta virus. He said this. I want something to
Kathy. How you doing? You going to Hudson Yard? All right. Yeah, I go next street because private car not allowed. 14th Street, trucks and buses. Feel like crazy. We have Planet of the Apes and up there in office, you know. I have the whole meat market area. They don't want any car there. They want to close it only for like pedestrian. I mean, what if you're disabled or bad weather? How you get to your home or hotel, you know, or you have heavy stuff.
chemical commonly used by farmers and those that work with or apply herbicides. Residences near agricultural sites are also at risk for exposure. Scientific research showed that exposure to paraquat close to a residence increased Parkinson's disease risk by 75%. Numerous additional studies confirm the link between paraquat and increased risk for Parkinson's. In fact, paraquat has been banned or limited for use in many other countries around the world. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with Parkinson's after being exposed to paraquat or other herbicides and suffered side effects, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call us today at 800-217-0545. Our experienced attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-217-0545. Again, that's 800-217-0545.
Hi everyone, it's Larry Kudlow here for Legacy Precious Metals. It's been all over the news. Inflation is on the rise. So your retirement account may be in jeopardy and you need to protect yourself. Gold provides a hedge against inflation. This is why wise investors diversify their portfolios with precious metals. As inflation creeps up and the dollar gets less valuable, gold usually holds its value, protecting you and your wealth. It's time for you to diversify with gold. All my friends at Legacy Precious Metals.
You have coffee in the office?
Yeah,
You're gonna go get your coffee? Did they start with coffee?
exactly. I'm a little late, but it happens.
Very nice. I stop here next to the money truck.
Perfect.
Watch out, the old money follow. Good luck, take care. Say hello to Lorraine. Okay. Who's in the building? Who's represented? Yeah. Good morning, Yogi friend, Dave, Lita, Ray. Everybody's in the building. Sakota, Logan. What's up? What's up? Flag warning. Hey. are your plans to give me range?
something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable. Okay. He said that about 3 weeks ago, right? This is what he said yesterday to the little beady-eyed sneak, Clinton shill stepping
See,
out.
look at the monkey.
When you look at what's happening,
You see the monkey? Monkey's chilling. Yeah. A monkey named Ares. And over there is the vase. The vase, they close it, no more. Like 4 people jump off. They thought it's like jumping off the swimming pool. No more. Yeah, and this building, you see it here? There's a 2 entrances. Entrance for rich people and entrance for poor people. Poor people entering in the back, rich people entering in the front. Oh, Joseph got the tail, the range. Congratulations, Joseph. The base, this is the base. It's all handsome now. That's the big, that's the age, You see people taking picture of the monkeys. Monkey is just chilling there. He's just chilling. King Piano. The kids excited about the monkey. monkey. Big monkeys, huh? She bring Aya here, tell her that's the zoo. Sleeping, don't wake up, Kiko. Don't wake up, Kiko. Baby. Why? What the hell over there? Yeah, they fix it nice over there too, yeah. New Hudson. Look at this guy bicycle hat. Funny business. Funny business, monkey business. Monkey business. monkey business. This is the highlight. See, that's the highlight. We're working on the highlight. Shana, where are you, Shana? Shana to thank you so much for the what the press super chat. How you doing? Shana, welcome. Let's go. Going to 110. What's your head, baby? Stop falling off your head. What's your head? Put a helmet. Cleaning up. Tools falling down. Clean the window.
contestants will each learn to use what type of eating utensil? Chopsticks. Really close. I got the first one wrong. I should have known. I was going to say Vietnam, but I just put Korea because that was early. So anyway, that's all right. They did a very, very good job. They did a great job. 4 out of 5. So Bernie's got to get all 5 right to win today. Waiting on Bernie. We got you the studio just to put you on hold. Here comes Bernie. Bernie, you ready to go? Oh, it's good me. You get all 5 points. All right? You can do that, right? Possibly. All right. You can do it. I know you can. Here's number 1, Bernie McGurk. The Geneva Accord, 1954, split what Southeast Asian country in 2 at 17 degrees north latitude? That would be, Ireland, Korea. He's not going to lose. Is it Vietnam? Vietnam. Oh, okay, yes, Bien Crew. They found, okay, it was either one of the 2. All right, I got it wrong. In 1873, United States law states that what animal must appear on the reverse side of all U.S. greater than 10 cents? What animal? What year was it? 1873. I would say, eagle. Right. The country of Jordan's flag features a 7-pointed star. Points represent the first 7
Red light camera ahead.
During the historic February 1972 trip to China, Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger each learned to use what type of eating utensil? Come on. Yeah, what do you got? Yeah, that's right. All right, there we go. Both of the gentlemen played well. Justin, Rivervale, New Jersey. Bernie each got 4 correct. No winner today, but a one-play game nevertheless. Justin, gentleman of an art. What's up, Justin?
Hey, good morning, Bernie. You guys actually called me about a year or 2 ago. Both you guys, I obviously listen to you now, I'm retired, so every day I was be one of the fun to listen to you guys. Terrific show. Can't say enough about it.
What are you, a Wall Street guy, Justin?
I was Bernie, yep. Retired 2 years ago. Did my thing and got out, so now I'm just enjoying my retirement up in Clark County with my beautiful wife, Maureen, my 2 sons.
Good for you. So you made your,
my phone, so
you made your fortune, and the 2 kids are doing well, and you're kicking back and you're enjoying it all. That's
32, my son Sean's working for you guys, serving the U.S. Marine Corps, so without a head.
God bless. Where are these stations?
In California, like Kilo Palms, where you get Pendleton, a couple months.
So it's interesting, huh?
Yes, sir.
years old, I think the rate is 26% are vaccinated. That's it. That means, what, 74% are not vaccinated, almost 3%. If you're a white supremacist, this is a vaccine passport mandate is a good thing. You're going to do a restaurant, you're going to be sitting with people who look like you. You're going to love. But not the media, the press, they won't address it. They won't
In 900 feet, at the roundabout, take the first exit on Central Park North.
It's medical apartheid, but in practicality, it's actually racial apartheid as well. Because who makes a black woman and a former lesbian? Isn't she just wrong? That might be come out of places. These people are stupid. They don't think these things through. She didn't say a damn word. She got away with stealing $1 billion on that show. That's why they're on that. There's Susan in New Jersey online too. Hi, Susan.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Oh, well, thanks.
Okay, so my thought is, and a few people that I've talked to, they're sending all the immigrants all over the country. Everyone's, well, they've got COVID, they're spreading it around. They're trying to get us to the point for election day next year where we're going to be in lockdown again and we're going to have the same election.
Yeah, that is part of their goal. Well, it seems they want. And it seems a couple of months ago, it didn't seem to me like they could stretch it out that long, but I'm not so sure anymore on how they can. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously...
At the roundabout, take the first exit on Central Park North.
I don't see them extending it to November. Having, emergency mail-in ballot, mass ballots, any of that stuff. But at this point now, we're not seeing the drop in these rates, and who knows? That is part of their plan. They want to, because they know that's all they have. They have January 6th, and they have the COVID fear-mongering to help them win the election in November 2022. Otherwise, we're going to get screwed. I wish the election, I wish that God the election was this November, because they have screwed things up so bad. 7 months. Democrats so bad. Water, the Afghanistan, inflation, crime, you name it. Other than energy independence. I mean, you pay $140 for the Afghanistan. I mean, people feel that. No matter
In a
who
quarter
you
of a
are, no
mile,
matter what party
you'll
you
arrive.
are, no matter what color you are, you feel that at the pump. I remember a year ago, you were filling up your tank and it was $60, and
temporarily. That was the goal for the Biden administration. They what they wanted, and they want to get Kamala in. I think the Afghanistan debacle is going to be the way Biden gets out and Kamala gets in.
Very possibly. You know what? She's every bit as stupid and incompetent as he is. So I don't see the benefit for them. People, her numbers are underwater, as are his right now. And her numbers went underwater before he was in there, believe it or not. So I don't see how it helps them, because she's not likable. She didn't get any votes in when she ran for president as Democrat. I mean, she was one of the first ones. She dropped out before NATO or war broke out there. So nobody likes her. I don't see, again, the benefit there having her as a top figure and as a top party. I don't see it. But
You arrived at your destination.
You've been here before? Here is good? You want a little bit more?
It's okay. A little bit closer.
Okay, one second. Behind the bus? Well, God bless. Thank you. Be safe. Good luck. Take care. Sexy shampoo. Hot mama shampoo. Hot mama shampoo. Hot mama shampoo.
offers beginning on September 20th once authorized by the Food and Drug Administration. The booster shot is recommended to be taken 8 months after the second dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. More data is coming out on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and it is likely that those who have taken the single-dose vaccine will need a booster shot as well. The first to receive the booster shots will include health officials, healthcare workers, the elderly, and nursing home residents. President Biden announced Wednesday that nursing home staff will be required to get vaccinated in order to receive federal funding and participate in Medicare and Medicaid. 58.5% of all New Yorkers have completed their vaccine series, and 65.5% of all New Yorkers have at least one dose as of Wednesday, according to the CDC. Biden stated that he is determined to get all Americans and allies out of Afghanistan by August 31st. There's an estimated 10,000 to 15,000 Americans and 50,000 to 65,000 Afghans and their families that are waiting to escape the country. If there are any Americans or allies still in Afghanistan after the August 31st
Police reported ahead.
the U.S. troops will remain in the country until everyone is vaccinated. Country Sears, Garth Brooks has canceled the remaining dates on his 2021 tour. Garth Brooks stated that the pandemic was the reason for the cancellation. 5 shows in total have been canceled, with the dates ranging from September through October, and one show that was originally postponed in July has plans to reschedule when the pandemic lessens. Say that it has millions of customers' personal data. The exposed data included names, driver's license information, and T-Mobile account pins. Financial information does not appear to have been obtained. T-Mobile is offering 2 years of theft protection for free. T-Mobile also recommends either setting up or changing the PIN on the account. T-Mobile has since launched a website that provides information on how to protect yourself from cybersecurity threats and explains what they are doing
Yeah,
to protect
T-Mobile.
their customers.
Customer, change your PIN. Wanna go change it now?
Of Legionnaires' disease in central Harlem after 9 people have been diagnosed with the disease since August 9th. According to health officials, the 9 individuals have been hospitalized. 7 of the 9 are at the age of 50 years or older. Sampling and testing of the cooling tower systems in the area of the cluster is being conducted. Legionnaires' disease is not contagious and can be treated with antibiotics when caught early. A virtual community meeting is planned for today from 6 to 7 p.m. The Caldor fire in California has grown rapidly in size in just the last 2 days. 0% of the fire has been contained and over 60 acres are in flames. Resources have been assigned to respond to the emergency as thousands have evacuated their homes. Now from the Ramsey Mountain Weather Center, mostly cloudy today with light rain this morning with a high of 87. The low today will go down to 73. Tomorrow expect a mainly cloudy day with a chance of possible showers or thunderstorms with a high of 86. On Saturday expect scattered storms or thunderstorms throughout the day and evening with a high of 83 and a low of 73. Right now it's 79 degrees. That's your WABC Morning News Brief.
TBS, welcome back. Joseph Taylor. I'm Boros. Welcome back. I see you. I feel you.
For your new Mazda, shop Ramsey Mazda. Everyone's experiencing a bit more
Thank
freedom
you,
now.
Joseph. Thank you for the link.
Experience that freedom in a new car with new Ramsey Mazda. Check out the 2021 Mazda lineup of SUVs and cars for the 3rd year in a row. Ramsey Mazda's won Dealer Rater's 2021 Mazda Dealer of the Year award in New Jersey. Experience the excitement of Mazda. Ramsey Mazda on Route 17 and RamseyMazda.com. Join Music Radio 77 WABC for Nightbot
Speed camera reported ahead.
And it will help end the pandemic faster. Yeah, Joe Biden wrestling with the teleprompter booster shot. Yes, desperate for a distraction. President Biden pushes for booster shots for the vaccinated. Meanwhile, mandate mania rages on businesses, schools, sports. All are affected, and the fighting is heating up. Remember, Jim, so Americans should understand the troops might have to be there beyond August 31st. No, Americans should understand that we're going to try to get it done before August 31st. If we don't, the troops get back. Will determine at the time who's left. If there's American citizens left, we're going to stay to get them all out. Ensuring loss. President Biden is saying U.S. troops will stay in Afghanistan to all Americans who want to leave or out. Why don't we make sure Americans were out before we moved out our military? And when you tell a bunch of people in a war zone to find their way to an airport, when the Taliban are blocking every artery to the capital, that is pretty much something I would just flat out say is un-American. Remember, the intelligence clearly indicated multiple scenarios were possible. There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this army and this government for 11 days. Unbelievable. And he spent his whole time in the military. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, laying down our nation days after the collapse of that. Otis, Milley, Austin all show what they don't deserve to lead our nation. The embarrassment and in my lifetime, the death and destruction and carnage we are witnessing now. Now we just hope that we get 15,000 Americans out. And reports now, as we're seeing from that we're getting now from Kabul Airport, Hamid Karzai Airport is just as we try to get thousands of Americans out, many of which are stuck and afraid to leave and also told to shelter in place. Chris Wallace, you've seen a lot in your lifetime. A lot of wars build up, the drawdown. I know you've studied this war for your book, Countdown 19, the untold story of the Countdown Bin Laden, the untold story of 247-day hunt to bring the mastermind of 9/11 to justice. Did you ever expect this dismount? No. To be back with you, Brian, this has been terrible. You know,
Salomon Museum.
the president, and I don't think the president looked good at all in answering the questions. He said, you know, this was inevitable, that there was no way this was going to end without this chaos. But remember, it was why it was just a little over a month ago, in the White House, he was asked basically the same question, and the president said that this was not inevitable, and that it wasn't going to happen, and we weren't going to have another Saigon. No way we were going to have another Saigon, and in many ways, this is worse, because frankly, we put a lot more people out in the 2 years before the helicopters were on the rooftop in Saigon.
Guggenheim
This is
Museum.
another failure, an intelligence failure, operational failure, and a failure of leadership. So you don't think this could have been handled, the fact it could have been handled better in any way? No mistake. No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that there, anyway, we're going to go back and hide somehow. There's a way of doing it. That was always great. I mean, and his explanation, I just want to play one more, his explanation of the chaos we
Metropolitan Museum, look at the line. Metropolitan Museum, a lot of people. Ayan na eh. Chubby.
You know, I have to say, the main failure is one.
Chubby.
But there's also, you know, the PR, the optics sense of it, certainly not as important. But the shots of Joe Biden at Camp David by himself in a shirt sleeve, you know, watching a TV screen of his advisors, you know, with nobody around the table, just him by the table because it was so important to be at Camp David. And then coming back in that interview yesterday and saying the buck stops here on Monday, and then he didn't have enough fingers to do all the finger pointing he was doing, blaming everybody from President Trump to the Afghan government to the Afghan army to the Afghans who didn't get out soon enough. I don't know how frankly this could have been handled any worse.
I really don't. And Chris, you know what's amazing? You know, I used to, for this show in particular, watch other channels to see if I could get new ideas for guests. Over the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years, I didn't watch the Sunday show. You're the only one I could get something interesting to help my this show on Monday. I mean, literally, it sounds just like biased reporting. So this has changed. I actually saw Jake Tapper beside himself. I'm watching programming that they can't explain this type of incompetence. It said you can't duck this. He tried to get you to duck this with his booster shot announcement, but he couldn't. And then took 3 days also for General Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Secretary of Defense to speak. And when they did, they hardly made me feel as if I was getting the true story.
Tourists, a lot of tourists. Good morning, Monique. Good morning. What's up? We're in the Metropolitan Museum.
It's amazing that we even have control of the airport. But, you know, he's just simply stating the fact. When you lose a city, when you lose a country, and the Taliban, one of the most brutal regimes in history, is there in complete control. You're basically, you know, there are things, is there some leverage we have? Yes. But no. in terms of force, you know, if you could still punch your way into Kabul, get Americans out. No, if we were going to do that, we should have stayed in with thousands of troops in the first place.
Couple of things. He's right, but that's ridiculous. For you being a general your entire career and now Secretary of Defense, and sit there, and I don't care what the president said, whether it's Trump or Clinton or President Biden. I need everybody out by this certain day. Well, we got about 15,000 Americans in the country, Mr. President. How do we get them out in this scenario when the Taliban take control? We all agree they will. Well, if his answer is, well, that's up to you to figure out, then say, well, Mr. President, I need 50,000 troops in there, or I need 30,000 troops in there, or I need 10,000 troops in there, or whatever we do, don't pull a five-on air base until they're out. And if he says, well, I'm closing it, you know, Mr. President, you're going to need a new Secretary of Defense, because I can't put my name on this. I can't have the deaths of 9,000 Americans on my conscience and have this cap off my career. I was fine in the private sector. He was probably making $1 zillion retired.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, there's enough blame to go around. I'm not going to sit there and go after Secretary Lawson.
Well, why not?
Well, because you know, the president made some decisions. I think the president, you want to pile on Joe Biden or Donald Trump, for that matter, for what he did, but especially Joe Biden for what he's done these last 8 months. Be my guest. That, you know, it's a man. I don't know.
If you pile on, you just, I mean, I'm not piling on. I'm assessing the situation.
No. I'm just saying that I agree with you with the president. It's a little bit hard. And, you know, in fairness, I'm not talking about, I'm not going to defend Joe Biden in any way, but if you're the defense secretary and these are the orders you get from the commander-in-chief, what are you going to do? You're going to quit? I don't know. Is it, you know, you have an obligation to the troops that are there. You're in the middle of a war. It gets complicated.
Well, I would simply say this. I cannot guarantee the lives of 10,000 people. I cannot guarantee that.
He may well have said that, and you know, I hope he did say that, because it was crazy. The idea that you're going to, in the end, that you were going to allow this deterioration, and what did we have by the end? 650 troops? I mean, we had no protection at all. No protection for the embassy, no protection for the airport, no protection for Bagram. You know, that certainly is possibly. Look, I can't protect these people with the force you've given.
First, Kristen, at the end of the show, I was shocked to hear your announcement. You had skin cancer. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing okay. It was, you know, I've missed you guys, you, and especially your listeners. It's a shock, I gotta say. You know, you hear, you go to a dermatologist, they hear there's a little rough patch of skin, they do a biopsy, and they come back a week later and say, you've got, fortunately, the least serious kind of skin cancer, basal cell carcinoma, and you're going to have surgery, and you know, it's not a walk in the park. I'm much better. My nose looks like somebody punched me in the nose, but I'm okay with makeup. And the main point here, please, folks, take this seriously. Put on sunscreen, wear a hat, don't bake in the sun. You know, it just is something you got to take seriously, because let me just quickly say, I went to the skin surgeon doctor, Mohs surgery, the surgery that you have where they just take little slices. This guy, here in Washington, D.C., had 6 rooms going at the same time. 6 people in the rooms, all going through the same thing I was going through at the same time. Skin cancer is a booming business. So do everything you can to protect yourself.
Glad you're okay. You're great. Hey, I would never know. I just thought it was well-deserved summer vacation for a guy that hasn't taken off in a year and a half. So I did not know that you were out for anything except for hanging out with George Clooney and Hillary.
This is not a late summer summer.
Chris, thanks so much. Glad you're okay. Glad to have you back.
And just real quickly, on the show,
Thank you for calling. My name is Jane. Can I help you?
Yes,
out the Taliban in just 6.
Lucas, the other thing I'd like to bring into is the fact that General Milley, and I imagine any drill sergeant, could assess the quality of troops and the possibility of their success or failure. They're forced to study the opposition. Why is it that no one could have assessed what the Afghan troops are? Number one, the numbers in which they are. They're not 300,000. The numbers that are actually good fighters, and grade them where we're most vulnerable. General Miller's like, yeah, I had no idea this was going to happen. Really? I mean, isn't that their job? Hasn't he been doing this for 50 years, evaluating troop strength?
Brian, a lance corporal on the ground in Helmand province during the worst years of the Afghan war could have told you this. Like you said, any sergeant, any lance corporal, anybody could have said this. You've heard the horse soldiers, those brave special forces who took out the Taliban by calling in those vicious B-52 strikes in 2001 in Mazar-e-Sharif. Well, let me introduce you to the ghost soldiers. Those were these made-up Taliban, or these Afghan units, okay? These Afghan army units that didn't exist, and some of them, by the way, might have been aligned with Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. But let me tell you about these Afghan army units. The U.S. taxpayer funded the Afghan army to the tune of more than $85 billion. Let me say that one more time, your viewers. I hope nobody drives off the road. $85 billion. Let's talk about some of these troops. Now, granted, some of them fought bravely. I mean, everybody's been throwing them under the bus. Over 50,000 have been killed in the last couple of years. Over 50,000 fighting the Taliban. But, Brian, one more thing. Some of these troops were not good, right? They were pedophiles. They were sleeping with goats. They were stoned. They were shot some of our men and women, okay, the insider attacks. And some of them, some of them would just pick up a weapon and on full auto and spray a compound. It's like, can anybody teach these guys where the flipping safety is on this weapon?
Okay, understood. And I understand they're still fighting. It's also kind of, we think that, okay, the Afghan people have picked their leader and it's going to be the Taliban, but you watched some of the protests yesterday. They're running around with the Afghan flag, the one that Ghani left behind. So there are a lot of people there that are not going to go by easily, and Masood's son is marshaling up a northern army and is asking the U.S. for help.
Well, first of all, today marks the first Afghanistan Independence Day under Taliban rule. Today is Afghanistan's Independence Day. Yes, you can note the irony. It's interesting about Masood's son. He has an op-ed today in the Washington Post. Of course, his dad was one of the greatest guerrilla fighters to ever take on the Soviet army in the 80s. The Soviets sent, 4,000 tanks over the country to crush the resistance, the Mujahideen, funded by the CIA. The Soviets never once defeated Masood. Multiple operations in the Panjshir Valley north of Kabul, and Masood never cracked. In fact, Al-Qaeda assassinated him 2 days before 9/11. Why? They knew he would be the greatest asset for the U.S. government, the U.S. military, and the CIA. They killed him 2 days before 9/11. That set in motion those vicious attacks against the United States on 9/11, Brian.
All right, I want you to hear Lloyd Austin explain why our people are stuck. Now, I've got to ask you this. Have you heard these reports? I'm just getting them now. That the UK is leaving Kabul airport, the Karzai airport, and going to get their people, and the U.S. is in screaming fights with them because our commanders are not allowed to leave, say you'll screw up the deal if you go out and get your people. So we're letting the Americans work their way to the airport, but the British, for the most part, are going to guide them to the airport. Do you know anything about this?
Well, Brian, I saw the reports. It's actually one of the questions I was hoping we'd get asked in the briefing yesterday with Austin and General Milley. I've seen the reports. It's very clear right now, based on what the top leader said yesterday, no U.S. troops are leaving the wire, leaving Kabul airport when the British are. The British paratroopers are leaving the airport. Now, granted, to be fair, Brian, the smaller British force, they also have a narrower interest. They're trying to rescue hundreds of interpreters, whereas the U.S. military and the State Department are trying to get upwards of 20, 30,000 out. Of course, a lot of people are throwing some shade on that and saying that really it's a race against time. You got to get these guys get out there soon. I mean, even though President Biden was open to staying past August 31st, and there's certainly some evidence, hey, the U.S. military is still ramping up. U.S. Marines, paratroopers are still flooding into the Kabul airport. We heard from General Milley, there's U.S. Special Operations Forces now on the ground. You know why they're there is, let's think, Black Hawk Down, hopefully not the tragic part of that story, but just convoys, like they might need to bust through. But you're right now, British forces are well, until these reports came out, quietly going into Kabul in the middle of the night, downtown, rescuing their people. Right now, the U.S. military is stuck on the base. The big question, Brian, I'm not in the briefing right now, but was that a deal that the U.S. had to make with the Taliban to sit inside the airport like a little playpen, sit in the sandbox?
Hey, Lucas Tomlinson, why do we leave the embassy? We leave the embassy and set up in an open field? I mean, why do we leave the embassy? The Russians and Chinese can stay. We built this complex. It's evidently, all our resources are there. Therefore, the beginning of the disorganization happened then. I thought we had a force to protect the embassy.
Brian, it's one of the biggest questions that I have right now. And in fact, if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be in there, firing that same question over at Kirby and this Army general. I've had a lot of people reach out to me from top levels of the U.S. military saying, I'm confused. I thought the flag comes down last. There are U.S. military members insulted and frankly just pissed off, Brian, that the flag came down first. And then we started the evacuation. This makes no sense, they tell me. That makes no sense. The embassy cost over $700 million. It has walls as thick as the Fox headquarters there in New York. And we evacuated that, and now people are wondering, wait, why are we doing stuck at the airport? That being said, General Milley's pretty clear yesterday talking about Bagram, and this applies to the embassy too, is they wanted to fall back on one position. But the problem is, Brian, is this airport in Kabul is in the middle of 4.5 million people, and, there are, I don't even want to say what, is on a lot of our minds is at what point does the Taliban go from this PR blitz to, hey, we want you out of here? And of course, look at their friends. 20 of the most dangerous terrorist groups are in the Hindu Kush Mountains not far away.
That's true, but our military took them down to 3.5 weeks last time, and then kept them at bay for 20 years. And then we have 5,000-6,000 there now. I mean, why do we take the civilians out before the military? Has anyone thought about that? And to give up that base with the prisons there?
There are 5,000 Taliban prisoners and some of the most hardened al-Qaeda fighters. Bagram Air Base had 2 runways. I'm not a logistics expert, Brian, but you think if you had 2 runways, you could take off twice as many planes filled with refugees. Bagram was the biggest U.S. air base that we had in the last 20 years. We also had fast movers there, fighter jets, drones, C-130 gunships. They could have mowed down this Taliban onslaught. It might be a very different situation today, Brian.
All right, Lucas, I'll let you get back in there. The Pentagon briefing's happening. And then there'll be one at the State Department, but there will not be one from the White House. He wants to talk about booster shots. Lucas, it's such an embarrassing time for America. Our men and women that fight deserve so much more from their commanders.
A lot of our people feel the same way, and our own Jennifer Griffin is right now lobbing her questions into this Army general at the Pentagon briefing right now, Brian.
All right, thanks so much.
Great to join you.
All right, same here. Lucas doing a great job. 1-866-408-7669. So the Pentagon trying to make some sense out of what they're doing, but I'm willing to be educated, always. Tell me why we left the Bagram Airport. Tell me, air base, tell me why that fortified base is not as good as the Kabul. Tell me why, if you're there to protect the embassy, you left the embassy and didn't protect it. Back in a moment.
It's Brian Kilmeade on Talk Radio 787 WABC.
When running a business, HR issues can kill you. Wrongful termination suits, minimum wage requirements, labor regulations, and HR managers, well, their salaries aren't cheap, an average of $70,000 a year. Bambee, you spell it B-A-M-B-E-E, was created specifically for small business. HR manager, you craft HR policy and maintain your compliance, all for just $99 a month. With Bambee, you can change HR from your biggest liability to your biggest strength. Your dedicated HR manager is available by phone, email, or real-time chat. From onboarding to terminations, they customize your policies to fit your business and help you manage your employees day to day. All for just $99 a month. Month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime. Let Bambee help you get your free HR audit today. Go to Bambee.com/Brian right now to schedule your free HR audit. That's Bambee.com/Brian. Spell BAM to the BEE.com/Brian.
Have you been putting off life insurance for a while? With the long application process, medical exams, and blood tests, it's no wonder you put it off. It can seem so confusing, expensive, and time-consuming. But Ethos is a new way to buy life insurance. Ethos is built with you in mind. Instead of a medical exam, you only have to answer a few health questions. Our application is 100% online and can be done in about 10 minutes. You might even get same-day coverage. At Ethos, we match you with the right policy and the right price from top-rated carriers with no medical exams and no blood tests. Now you can spend less time sorting through confusing paperwork and more time with the loved ones you want to protect. Go to ethoslife.com today to apply in minutes. That's ethoslife.com. Ethos Technologies Inc. operates in some states as Ethos Life Insurance Services. Not available in all states.
I'm a mother, and I know there's a product that you must have in your home to be used on anyone you love to save their life. The statistics for choking are staggering. They're actually frightening. One child dies every 5 days. Over 5,000 people a year choke to death. The product is called LifeAct, and the reports on this product are incredible. Countless stories locally and worldwide of how LifeAct has saved lives. People of all ages save from choking on food, vitamins, anything accidentally. The LifeAct rescue device is the only non-invasive portable airway clearing device in the world. 100% effective and very easy to use. If you see your child or family member choking, wouldn't you want to be protected? This is a life-saving device. From one parent, daughter, wife to another, please protect your family today with a LifeAct. Go to lifeact.net. Use the code WABC and receive 10% off. Lifeact.net. That's lifeact.net.
Looking for your next investment? What a cash out. Here are 8 reasons to consider NRIA's proven real estate development fund. Monthly cash flow payouts of 10% annualized and bonuses to 21% target. We strategically locate in lower risk, high demand areas people are moving to. New construction is short on supply. Real estate supports diversification and safety. Special property assets every month supporting your investment. Our short and long-term strategy provides for steady returns today and major upside targets. Our buildings are socially responsible, environmentally friendly, and pandemic hardened. We are an industry leader with a 15-year proven track record. Hedge against inflation and receive steady cash flow. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1440. That's 800-800-1440.
Offer securities is only made by the NRIA private placement memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
You can depend on us. Enable the 77 WABC Alexa skill at home. Download the 77 WABC mobile app on your phone. Don't miss a minute. Talk Radio 77 WABC. Breaking news, unique opinions. Hear it all on the Brian Kilmeade Show. Welcome back, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here, looking over how we lost Afghanistan and the humiliation and the health of the 15,000 Americans are there, maybe more, and those who have allied with us. We're not sure who they are. I want to make sure they're thoroughly screened, but if they pass, they should be back here. Frank Sewell joins us now, Chairman and CEO of Selfie Towers Foundation. As you know, it's 20 years since the 9/11 attacks on the 20th, on the 9/11, I guess we're coming up now in a couple of weeks. Frank will finish up his walk. His walk started, to never forget, walk on August 1st. Over the course of 42 days, Frank will walk over 500 miles from the Pentagon to Shanksville over the World Trade Center. Frank, welcome back. Remember, T2T.org to support your great walk and your great organization. Where are you now?
Well, right now I am in Pennsylvania. I am walking a few mountains that are beautiful and the rolling hills. I just came across a classroom because they're back to school in Pennsylvania, and they were just going out in recess. I think it was about 4th graders or so. And I went over and I gave them all a FDNY hat and told them a little story about Stephen, of course, age appropriate. And it was so cute, it was beautiful. But that's exactly why I'm doing this, Brian, to make sure that the youth of America finds out about what happened 20 years ago when Islamic terrorists tried to kill as many Americans as possible, but they killed 2,977 of them. You know,
and that changed everybody's lives forever. And a lot of people joined the military in military response. And by October, we were in Afghanistan. Frank, so many people that you helped fighting these wars or on the police, fighting to keep us safe. And you make sure they have take care of their mortgages and tell the towers continue to grow. What have you been hearing as we have just given up Afghanistan? We worked so hard to win and hold.
It's so sad. I've been talking to widows every day now. This debacle, the saddest in the world can't prepare properly to get our Americans out safely. I mean, it's disgusting. And that we don't keep our promise about those Afghanis that helped us on the war on terror. And they're going to be left behind, many of them, and they're going to be slaughtered. And anyone that thinks anything different than they're going to be slaughtered is naive. The problem with a lot of Americans they are naive. These people over there will kill them. The Taliban will slaughter their children just to make an example of them so they can keep Sharia law. It's disgusting. It's upsetting. And these Gold Star families, many of which we've helped to deliver the mortgage-free home to them because their loved one gave their life for our country. They are destroyed. That's the word, destroyed.
Yeah, I can imagine. And Frank, I guess everyone's going to take a moment on 9/11 now, but as high as we were in 2011 with the death of Bin Laden, right before, this is going to really hurt coming up on 20 years. So you think?
It is. It's hurtful right now. I'm going to be in Shanksville on Saturday. I am going to lay a wreath at the exact spot where Flight 93 came down when those heroes, those 40 heroes on that plane took down took back their plane from these terrorists and brought it down in the plains of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be there laying a wreath and saying a prayer with all the Flight 93 families that lost their loved one. And to have this coupled with what's going on in Afghanistan is so raw. It's just disgusting. And but listen, we must honor those who perished 20 years ago. That's why I'm doing this walk, and that's what I'm going to focus on. I can't change our president, who is guided by I don't know who, but they are making some terrible, terrible mistakes.
Frank, where are you? I know you have the big concert on Saturday. I'll definitely be there. Tell us what to expect at Jones Beach.
Well, thank God we still have these great heroes and their lives that they've given for our country. You know some of the lineup that we're going to have. We have Journey, Chainsmokers, Steve Miller Band, unbelievable, one of my favorite all time. Wycliffe Jean, John Fogerty, look at him, unbelievable, beautiful voice. So does Dan Wilson from Heart, Lee Brice, great country musician who does so much for the Thomas Howard Foundation. Kevin DeBrock, same thing. You can hear I'm walking, right? On a highway. Kevin DeBrock will be there. Lee Wood, proud to be American. When you hear him sing that song, it's going to be unbelievable. Jack, Kenny Rodriguez, Wade McDonald, and Paul Ryder. It's going to be a great night, and we're going to allow the musicians up to the youth of America. I want the youth out there. You get pretty close.
Right. T2T.org. Help Frank help other people. There's so many, the list is so long of families in need. And all Frank wants to do is be able to help them out. So help him do that. Go to T2T.org, turn up the Towers Foundation, do your research. I know you'll come back and support it even more. Frank, stay healthy.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for having me. And the opening of that concert is so respectful. We're going to honor these great heroes. When you see it, Brian, you've never seen anything like it. So
I'll be talking about it, I promise. Frank Kilby.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance.
Traders, listen up. As life in America starts to return to normal, are you looking for the best trading opportunities? With the current real estate market, the rise of crypto, and the volatility of tech stocks, it's virtually impossible to guess what will happen next. With Vantage Point, you don't have to. Text the word money to 813-813 to learn how our technology analyzes over 1 million data points per day. Text the word money to 813-813 so you can learn how to predict market trends up to 3 days in advance with incredible accuracy. Whether you're trading stocks, options, forex, futures, or crypto, Vantage Point's patented artificial intelligence can give you a massive edge. Text money to 813-813 to find out how to maximize your gains. Text the word money to 813-813 to learn how to use the volatility to your advantage. Don't wait. Text the word money to 813-813 now.
By texting in, you consent to receive calls, voice, and text messages using automated technology regarding offers by or on behalf of Vantage Point.
Individual rates, coverage offered in states and varies, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, things may have gotten tougher lately. You're probably looking for savings wherever you can find them.
want donated, call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS today.
Breaking news, WABC.
U.S. Capitol Police are investigating a report of a possible explosive device in a truck outside the Library of Congress. Investigators are working to determine if the device is operable and if the man inside the truck is holding a detonator. Reports of beatings and deaths are popping up around Afghanistan despite the Taliban's pledge of peaceful leadership. At least 12 people have been killed in and around Kabul airport since Sunday when the militant group entered the Afghan capital. Norwegian Cruise Line is extending COVID-19 vaccine requirements, adding that passengers who are not old enough to get the jab won't be allowed to sail. The company announced back in April that it will require 100% of passengers and crew to be fully vaxxed for these 2 weeks before boarding. A Queensman was charged with multiple counts of animal cruelty and other crimes after police found 27 pit bulls in dungeon-like conditions in his home. 59-year-old Andrew Cato was arraigned Tuesday on charges including illegal dog fighting and failure to provide proper food and water to the animals. U.S. jobless claims fell for a 4th straight week for a pandemic low. The Labor Department reported claims fell by 29,000 to 348,000, a far cry from the high in January. Now from the Ramsey Mazda Weather Center, cloudy all day again today. A high is up to 84. Possible storms late tonight, the low will be 73. Right now, 79 degrees. That's your WABC 77-second news update. The WABC traffic and transit report is next. I'm Frank Diaz. And remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Don't miss the hottest parties in the Hamptons this weekend, Friday, August
learn more.
Wacky Side of Midnight with Frankie Russo. Now you see I've gone completely out of my mind. Certifiable on the Wacky Side of Midnight from 1 a.m. till 6 a.m. Saturday. Take me away. And the craziness returns Sunday. I'm still here. On the Wacky Side of Midnight with Frankie Russo on 77 WABC. From the Fox News radio studios in New York City, information you want, truth you demand. It's Brian Kilmeade.
Welcome back, everybody. Brian Kilmeade here. Thanks so much for being with us. We're going to have Mohammed Hadi Abbasi with us shortly. He's an Afghanistan interpreter for Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, who has great contacts over there, worked for years over there as a private contractor, spent almost 30 years in the military. He's going to be with us shortly, and then we'll do our first simulcast with Harris Faulkner's show. Right now, we're watching the Pentagon briefing with Admiral John Kirby and the Major General in charge to try to explain how we have to depend on the Taliban in order to get our people out. How humiliating. And then we're going to cross shoot just to find out if there's indeed more to know. Big three.
Now with the stories you need to know, it's Brian Big Three.
Shot 8 months after you got your second shot. It will make you safer and for longer. And it will help us end the pandemic faster.
Booster shot. Desperate for a distraction, President Biden pushes booster shots for the vaccinated. Meanwhile, mandate mania rages as businesses, schools, and sports all are affected, and fighting is heating up.
Number 10. So Americans should understand the troops may have to be there beyond August 31st. No, Americans should understand that we're going to try to get it done before August. But if we don't, the troops will stay. If we don't, we'll determine at the time who's left. If there's American citizens left, we're going to stay to get them all out.
Oh, very simple. Sorry for asking. No one is getting in your way. Very aggravated president, ensuring law. President saying U.S. troops will stay in Afghanistan until all Americans who want to leave are out. Why didn't we make sure Americans were out before we removed our military? And now it's even being revealed that the Biden State Department moved to dismantle protections for citizens trapped overseas in June, before Kabul's fall. I'll bring you the details.
Number 1. The intelligence clearly indicated multiple scenarios were possible. There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this army and this government in 11 days.
Really? Laying down our nation. Days after the collapse of Afghanistan, the Biden Brad speak. Otis, Milley, Austin all show why they don't deserve to lead our nation. The embarrassment and incompetence are beyond anything I've witnessed, and the death, destruction, and carnage will only increase because they didn't prepare. And word is right now, things are really getting brutal around the airport. Taliban beginning to beat people who just will want to get out because their affiliation with Americans and Americans making their way there. It is chaos. Joining us now, Mohammed Hadi Abbasi, excuse me, we're going to wait. We're going to have him in 10 minutes. He's going to be joining us. I want to find out what's really on the ground. And I got to find out from people that are actually there, that have contacts on the ground. But I will say this. We're getting some interesting reports. Now, the U.S. has been told, Taliban will make sure the Americans get to you. So our orders to our military men and women are stick around the airport. The British were told the same thing, but they're ignoring it. So evidently, it's been tweeted out to respected source to the Lieutenant Colonel that friction at airport between the U.S. and U.K. face commanders. U.S. forces will not leave the airport due to the Taliban deal. 2-Para, which is the name of a unit of British fighters, still running patrols into Kabul to collect people from safe houses. U.S. unhappy with them, saying it puts their deal at risk. They go on. Things are so bad between the U.S. and U.K. forces at Kabul airport. Para, that unit, have been tasked to observe U.S. forces in case they leave on short notice. See, there's no trust here. 2-Para OCs, commanding officers, had a screaming match with the 82nd Airborne. Very unhappy of the treatment of the Afghans by U.S. forces. Meanwhile, 2 other businesses, 2-Para are running constant patrols into Kabul
we've seen Afghans
That
falling.
was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
It was 1 day ago when you did the interview. And what difference does it make if it's 4 days? You talk about a Saigon moment and move be like that. You said that on July 8th, and this is worse than anything that could happen. And your answer is 4 days ago? And I didn't see the whole interview, but George Stephanopoulos got positive reviews from Chris Wallace. Cut for it.
All troops are supposed to be out by August 31st. Even if Americans and our Afghan allies are still trying to get out, they're going to leave.
We're going to do everything in our power to get all Americans out and our allies out.
Does that mean troops will stay beyond August 31st if necessary?
Depends on where we are and whether we can ramp these numbers up to 5,000 to 7,000 a day coming out. If that's the case, they'll all be out.
Because we've got like 10 to 15,000 Americans in the country right now, right? And are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out
Yes.
is out?
Yes.
And he looks so adamant and angry. How dare he be angry? We should be angry. This is your evacuation plan. You expected this chaos, but surprised by the speed. You know what? The only assets you have, how many tax dollars you have, how much more we spend on our military than anyone else, how much blood and sweat went into that. And because you are dead set on getting out and are too afraid of blowing up the Trump deal, this is the only one you are, then you say, I had to get out and I'm just taking over my predecessor. I want you to hear this about the threat to the U.S. now that we're out. Cut 11.
Most intelligence analysis has predicted that Al-Qaeda will come back 18 to 24 months after a withdrawal of American troops. Is that analysis now being revised? Could it be sooner?
It could be, but George, look, here's the deal. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, been metastasized. There's a significantly greater threat to the United States from Syria. There's a significant greater threat from East Africa. There's a significant greater threat to other places in the world than it is from the mountains of Afghanistan. And we have maintained the ability to have an over-the-horizon capability to take them out. We don't have the military in Syria to make sure that we're going to be protected.
Unbelievable. They're there. They're still there. If the Taliban had to renounce Al-Qaeda, and they never did. One of the deals were they had to stop attacking Afghani forces, and they didn't. One of the deals were it was going to be a coalition government. It wasn't going to be just the Taliban, so they took it. All these were opportunities to stop the deal, rip up the deal, and realize America was about to lose its reputation and the country. So should we have seen this? General Mark Milley was asked that, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Cut 14.
The intelligence clearly indicated multiple scenarios were possible. One of those was an outright Taliban takeover following a rapid collapse of the Afghan security forces and the government. Another was a civil war. And a third was a negotiated settlement. However, the time frame of a rapid collapse, that was widely estimated and ranged from weeks to months and even years following our departure. There was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated a collapse of this army and this government in 11 days.
Unbelievable, because I'm reading intelligence report as a civilian, and it's really...
You need to get the, where are you? Are you on the way there? You need to get the keys for the lockbox. Front of the building on the left side. You see the green wall? You see the green wall? So open behind the gate is a small lockbox. You have to take the keys. And the code is 212.
something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy without your taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-47-BIBLE. That's 844-47-BIBLE. 844-47-BIBLE. This message is for anyone looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, even if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or taking anxiety meds. Here's an example. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe overweight with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost about $200 a month. We're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. If you've had prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Get a quick quote by calling Term Provider at 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336. If you're looking for term life insurance but have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or have other health issues, call Term Provider at 800-444-9336 or visit termprovider.com. Termprovider.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas.
If you're a small business owner, do you know if you're overpaying for workers' comp insurance? Hi, I'm John Swider, founder of Pi Insurance. Most insurance companies aren't set up to give small businesses the savings you deserve. That's why I created Pi. We serve small businesses exclusively, and we can save you up to 30% at trypi.com. At Pi, we take pride in our outstanding service. We're rated excellent on Trustpilot by customers who tell us Pi is affordable and easy to work with. Savings mean more now than ever. What would you do with up to 30% savings on workers' comp? I imagine you'd invest it back into your company and your employees. From one founder to another, I know you work hard to build your business. Let us help you protect what you started. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Bruce Giuliani here from Monetary Gold, precious metal company in business for over 20 years with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, helping protect and diversify your portfolio by setting up self-directed IRAs. If Biden eliminates tax deductions for contributions to your retirement accounts, raises corporate taxes, what do? When corporate taxes go up, the stock market comes down. Gold went from $700 to $1,900 under the last Democratic president within the first 2 years. Bank of America predicts gold to hit $3,000 in the next year. Call Monetary Gold right now. 888-204-2141. 888-204-2141. Are you prepared for higher taxes, less benefits, and money overall for yourself? You need to make a call right now. Monetary Gold is giving up to $5,000 in free gold and silver for all new qualified accounts. Call right now for your free gold guide. 888-204-2141. 888-204-2141. Protect your future.
Brian Kilmeade here for Life Back. Now, if you're a parent like me, you need to know about this product. You must have it. It could be used on anyone that you love to save their life. My kids are everything to me, like they are to you. The stats for choking are not only staggering, they are frightening. Did you know that one child chokes to death every 5 days? 5 days! Over 5,000 people a year choke to death. This product is Life Back. The reports on this product are incredible. Countless stories worldwide of how Life Back has saved lives. People all ages saved from choking on anything. Life Back can stop a senseless tragedy. The Life Back device is the only non-invasive portable airway clearing device in the world. Proven effective and very easy to use. If you see your child or family member choking, wouldn't you want to be protected? From one parent to another, protect your family with a Life Back today. Go to lifeback.net, use the promo code WABC, and receive 10% off. Lifeback.net, promo code WABC, that's lifeback.net.
New York's News Talk Leader. Wake up with Bernie and Sid in the morning. Tonight with Mark Levin. Download Download the 77 WABC mobile app now. It's 3 hours of radio. Trying to kill me.
How about our Afghan allies? We have about 80,000.
Well, that's not the
That's too high?
That's too high. The estimate we're giving is somewhere between 50 and 65,000 folks, total, counting their families.
Does the commitment hold for them as well?
The commitment holds to get everyone out, that in fact we can get out, and everyone should come out. And that's the objective. That's what we're doing now. That's the path we're on.
That is the President of the United States in one of his calmer moments through a very angry interview with George Stephanopoulos. He said he's going to get everyone out. As I'm just hearing and texting back and forth with Senator Tom Cotton, we don't know how many Americans are in there, and they are ballparking how many Afghans are eligible to get out of there. 50 to 60,000? Man, that's a lot of interpreters. 80,000, someone said, with their families? I don't know. They have to be thoroughly screened. And if they're loyal, let's do the best we can. If they're just people that'd rather be in America, there's a process for that. Mohammed Hadi Abbasi joins us now, an Afghanistan interpreter, work with the Vice Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Mohammed, how are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm good.
Where are you now?
Currently I'm working in Georgia.
Working in Georgia. Do you have contacts over what's happening in Afghanistan?
Yeah, but also folks, like some families and friends, you kind of worry about their situation, what's going to happen next. So, but of course, you always kind of worry. All of a sudden, in the morning, you just wake up and hear the news like government collapse. So yes, definitely, like with some friends and families behind you, always have to worry.
How do you feel about the way we're leaving Afghanistan?
Well, it was like really, it was a surprise when I heard the news first, because I thought it's not going to happen, and it's not going to be like this, because at least I thought like there will be some forces down there and kind of like to have this happening like within a matter of like 2 or 3 days. To me, it was like really surprised, and I was kind of like, how this happened so fast.
Well, did you expect more from America?
Well, I felt like the forces should, not all the forces, we cannot stay there, but at least like to be some, based on like my experience that I was there and worked with all these forces as interpreter and translator. So at least like we could have some forces down there, at least to train, be with the Afghan army, fight for them or mentoring them, so that way rather than letting the country kind of collapse on the government within like a matter of a week. So that's basically my opinion.
Did you live under the Taliban?
And I moved a long time ago. So it was like 2006, 2007.
You moved out. How many people do you think roughly have shown loyalty to the U.S. to the point where they should end up refugees and eventually American citizens?
You're talking about like a number-wise?
Yeah, how many do you think were working with the Americans?
Well, there will be there are a lot of them, interpreters and translators, but just that cannot be the only numbers because, you have NGOs, organizations, the UN, some other PRTs, provincial reconstruction teams, everybody. So there's a group of number of people involved, whether directly or indirectly. So it's too hard to say what will be the exact numbers because there are folks who can work indirectly with some other organizations,
right.
Not only specifically with the military. And so it's really hard to kind of see the numbers.
Did you think America did a lot of good in Afghanistan?
Actually?
Did America do a lot of good in Afghanistan?
Over the 20 years?
Yeah.
Over the 20 years, we did see a lot of changes, of course, with the infrastructures and works and those.
But like now that we kind of after 20 years within a week, you see like everything has been changing, so everybody is kind of like worried what's going to happen next. Are we going back to the same 20 years back, it's like the years of 1990s where nobody has freedom, women, children going to school. So it's kind of like everybody is in a worrisome situation right now.
Got it. Well, Mohammed, what do you want people to know in America about the Afghanistan people?
Well, I think what people should know in America about Afghanistan people is like there are people who are willing to work for the country and look for the future and a bright future. However, with the current situations which we have right now, especially for the young generations, that they should remain in the country. However, the situation has come where safety for them is the most important thing, because just recently I was reading the news where the Taliban was conducting like advanced mapping of individuals, even not those, but even their family members, kind of trace them down. So news like this is happening everywhere around the corner in every province right now. So that's pretty much the situation is right now. So, but we'll see what's going to happen. People, as of now, they're really frightened and they're scared of what's going to happen to them, and they're also their immediate family members.
Got it. Mohammed Hadi Abati, now in America, who helped us out in Afghanistan, especially Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Mohammed, thank you. Stay safe.
Oh, you take it. Thank you, Brian.
You got it. So it's pretty amazing to show you how off this president is. He came out and said, well, when we saw those people falling out of planes to their certain deaths and climbing all over an 800, maybe 900 packed into a cargo jet, well, that was 4 days ago. It was actually when he was doing the interview just 1 day ago. Not to have that type of awareness, not what time it is, but what day it is, scary. Number two, I think it's really important to know another thing he said was incorrect. That the airport is secure. Yeah, if you get in the airport, it's secure. But around the perimeter, it is chaos. People are getting killed. And you want Americans to meet us in the airport. How are they supposed to get through the airport? There's a little bit of a difference.
Traffic in transit.
Well, this problem up on 287 in Rybrook is really quite a bad accident. There were 2 cars involved in it, along with a cement truck. Unfortunately, there were 2 fatalities, so this will be here for a while. It already has. It's been here for a little bit less than 3 hours. So as you come eastbound on 287, bumper-to-bumper traffic, as you start to come across, it is back almost into White Plains now, all the way on over to pretty much I-95. Now, we're also going to be looking at delays on the northern states. There is down trees. You begin to travel on the eastbound side right around the area of Brush Hollow Road. Now, we also are going to have some issues on the Van White construction there. That continues. Mass transit's good. Alternate side is in effect. Today, mostly cloudy from the Rams Mazda Weather Center. Maybe some thunderstorms high 85. Partly cloudy overnight tonight, low 73. Same kind of thing tomorrow, high 85. 79 degrees from the Rams Mazda Weather Center. I'm Joe Nolan, 77 WABC. Brian Kilmeade here. This year, the Tunnels and Towers Foundation is honoring heroes with 200 mortgage-free homes. You gotta never forget walk more than 500 miles through 6 states in 42 days, culminating at Ground Zero on 9/11. Towers of Light tributes, names of those lost to 9/11 illness are being read on September 12th, and names of all lost in the War on Terror are being read on Veterans Day. Donate at $11 a month at T2T.org.
Paid for by NPM, not attorney spokesperson. Attention, this is an important message for anyone diagnosed with Parkinson's disease after being exposed to paraquat or other similar herbicides. Paraquat is a chemical commonly used by farmers and those that work with or apply herbicides. Residences near agricultural sites are also at risk for exposure. Scientific research showed that exposure to paraquat close to a residence increased Parkinson's disease risk by 75%. Numerous numerous additional studies confirm the link between Paraquat and increased risk for Parkinson's. In fact, Paraquat has been banned or limited for use in many other countries around the world. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with Parkinson's after being exposed to Paraquat or other herbicides and suffered side effects, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call us today at 800-217-0545. Our experienced attorneys are ready to fight for you, and you'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-217-0545. Again, that's 800-217-0545.
For your new Mazda, shop Ramsey Mazda. Everyone's experiencing a bit more freedom now that the warmer weather's here. Why not experience that freedom? Mazda, and check out the 2021 Mazda lineup of SUVs and cars, like the new 2021 Mazda CX-5. Edmunds.com rates it near the top of all small SUVs. The new Mazda CX-9 is the 3-row SUV that combines sophistication and performance. And then there's the thrill of the Mazda car lineup, Mazda 3, Mazda 6, and Mazda MX-5 Miata. For the third year in a row, Ramsey Mazda's won Dealer Rater's 2021 Mazda Dealer of the Year Award in New Jersey. You can get great customer service in store or at home using Ramsey at Home. In store or online, experience the excitement of Mazda at Ramsey Mazda on Route 17 or RamseyMazda.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Kilmeade. Welcome to Tunnel Towers Foundation New York Minute. Go to T2T.org and give great support to this fantastic organization. So let's get started. Mayor de Blasio cannot believe Governor Cuomo gets a $50,000 annual pension for the rest of his life after resigning in shame. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul will be taking over, and she says, I believe we need a mandate for children going back to school. Fantastic. A terrible first decision. Unvaccinated cops must wear masks. Only 43% of NYPD cops have been vaccinated. Restaurants and business owners are suing Mayor de Blasio because they are making these owners to make sure that their would-be patrons have vaccination cards, or they will not get served. And if they serve them, they get thousands of dollars in fines. And New York City lacked a key pandemic plan. That, according to Mayor Bloomberg's administration and Mayor de Blasio's administration, as examined by Comptroller Scott Stringer. I'm Brian Kilmeade. That is your New York Minute, brought to you by Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Listen to our show on 787 WABC from 10 till noon, Monday through Friday.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
So many people in the media these days, they just kind of want to be on TV. And now it's everywhere. With our stupid phones in our pocket, we take those pictures and we put them on Instagram. Effectively a fame in your pocket. And that's all anybody seems to want these days is a little jolt of attention. They don't want to do the work.
Greg Kelly, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. before Rudy Giuliani on 77 WABC. This is the news and talk station of New York with Brian Kilmeade.
They just flipped over and played dead.
Real New York, 77 WABC.
The talk show that's getting you talking. You're with Brian Kilmeade.
Welcome back. We're going to be joined in a little while by Carly Shimkus. She's going to prove there's more to know besides what's happening in Afghanistan. But the first time we're going to join the Faulkner Focus. But right now I'm looking at the television, and it looks like Capitol Police are responding to an active bomb threat, obviously in Washington, D.C. Mark Meredith covering the story, and we'll see what happens with that. And should I keep this in 2, Eric? Keep them in 2? Okay. So at one point we're going to be going into that, and I think first we're going to be handling conflicting reports of what's happening at Kabul's airport, Hamid Karzai airport, because we're trying to find out if indeed the Americans can get through, and if get through to us, and can we go out and get them if they are not at the airport. So we'll wait to go ahead and do that simulcast. Now it looks like the President of the United States will not be able to. He has decided not to make a speech today. Right now, there's nothing on his public calendar, which is inexcusable. We just watched the Pentagon briefing, and if anything was big, we would have brought you to it. So we'll get to that shortly. So let's listen in, and we'll wait for Harris to introduce us. We'll share audiences.
Critics torching the president's lack of transparency.
President Biden will not answer questions from the media or the press.
during his gravest and darkest foreign policy disaster, we really struggled trying to get information and data on what's truly going on there.
He doesn't say one word about Afghanistan. He is too programmed. He is too scripted, and everybody is now seeing what I've been now talking about.
What you're seeing now is some critics talking about the president's ridiculous actions and the ramifications of this big interview. They see Harris is going to interview me, and then we'll listen on both networks.
Co-host of Fox and Friends and host of the Brian Kilmeade Show on Fox News Radio, and we are live now on both, I believe. Brian, good to see you. Exiting is not this president's thing. You heard Joe Concha describing him as programmed, scripted, I would say robotic, as he turns away from people and walks away. And look at the exit now in Afghanistan.
It couldn't have been done worse. I'm embarrassed for this country. We deserve better from our leaders. And I look at the Secretary of Defense and the ridiculous comments from the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. No idea this place was going to fall so quick. The Secretary of Defense, no idea how the Americans are going to get home. My goodness, Harris, you're from a military family. When we lose somebody behind enemy lines, we risk our lives to get their bodies back. You're not going to get civilians out of cities where they were helping out. You don't live in Afghanistan to go on vacation. You live to help a country get back on its feet that we were helping to rebuild. So at the very least, they are ballparking how many people are actually in Afghanistan. How do you know, President Biden, if you got everybody out? And by the way, I want to help everybody that helped us that's eligible for refugee status. I want it. But I think we got to make sure we're pulling out the right Afghanis. We know that's been
That's hard to do, though. Have you seen that tarmac? I mean, that is really difficult to do. I don't know that we'll be able to successfully vet everybody for SIV status and do all of that. But if the choice is to possibly not be able to do that, but get all of the Americans that we have, I mean, that is one heck of a binary choice. You heard the General Kellogg. You can't say no to the Americans on the ground. And it is disingenuous for the Pentagon or the State Department, Brian, to say they don't know who's there. You don't think they have a list? Heck, they have a list of us when we say stuff on Facebook. They're working with big tech to find out whether or not we're saying things we shouldn't say. I mean, the administration has already said that. You know they have a list of people in Afghanistan who have American passports.
I don't know what's worse, if they have the list and told us they didn't, or if they really don't have a list and they didn't care enough to do it. Now think about this, and I've heard a lot of your show, and we've had 3 hours before this show, and I've been on 90 minutes here already. So we have a lot of people who keep saying to this, and I've not heard a good explanation. Under whose plan do we give up the best base, the military base in the country? And when General Austin comes out, Secretary of Defense Austin comes out and says, well, I only had enough troops to guard the embassy. Hey, Mr. Secretary, you left the embassy. Why did you leave the embassy? Why did you get all of our diplomats and stick them on the tarmac?
Yeah.
If you had enough to protect them, at least we would have had some type of organization and infrastructure built in. And maybe that's who those names are. Maybe someone grinded up the wrong list when they had 48 hours to bug out. I am so embarrassed about how this is happening and how President Biden says, well, we had to expect this chaos. And it's, well, when someone falls off a plane to their death or is hiding in the wheel well of a cargo jet, well, that was 4 days ago. No, Mr. President, it was 1 day ago. And it's never okay. You know that Saigon moment you said wouldn't happen? This is so much worse. Those seem like the good old days.
Did you hear Senator Cox? It's worse than that. It's Tehran 1979 when they took over 50 hostages. I mean, that's what's keeping him up at night. And by the way, you mentioned Austin. His former boss was just on. That's who General Kellogg is, rather. And General Kellogg said that as he watched that procession with Austin saying he didn't have enough of this or he said, well, someone's telling him that he doesn't. Because he does, and he's forced to take orders from that person. And I said, well, who would that be? Would that be the commander-in-chief? And he said, yes. I want to get to this. The vice president also quiet on the crisis of Afghanistan as she gets ready to head to Vietnam. The New York Post op-ed is asking, where's Kamala? Harris silent 6 days amid Afghan pullout chaos. She did tweet twice on the Afghanistan crisis, but remember this? This is what she said earlier this year when the president initially announced his plans to withdraw the troops. Watch.
President Biden always said that he wants you to be the last person in the room, particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision. Afghanistan, yes. Were you the last person in the room? Yes. and you feel comfortable. I do. Brian.
Okay, you were the last person in the room. So people that say, well, Kamala Harris and those whispering campaigns had nothing to do with this or argued against this move. Oops. And Dana Bash asked a good question in April, last person in the room. You know, Joe Biden was wrong about every national security decision and foreign relations policy over the last 40 years. And he admits that he was in the room on all those times, former chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Now Kamala Harris is on the record. Let's be honest, there's nothing that indicates that she's up for this job. And now for her staff, who, by the way, hate each other, they were at each other's throats. That's a story that came out not denied 3 weeks ago, are now deciding it's a great idea to go to Singapore and, check this, Vietnam to reassure our allies. What? That when Taiwan gets run over, we won't do anything? What could her message possibly be? What could that message be that could be reassuring? What has she shown that she represents America might or wants to use it?
I have one more. One of the many jobs that President Biden gave Vice President Kamala Harris was the border. And no, it's not working out. But the big problem with the border and how porous it is now that we're dealing with not just the Taliban, but the second in command there, Al-Qaeda, and who knows what that will birth on that soil with scorpions, terrorists coming in from wherever and nesting there. That's our potential future now. Why isn't she talking about securing the border? Real quick, I gotta go.
Okay, real quick. She's got 3 jobs. To sell everybody on voting rights that the Republicans are taking away. Number 2, tell everyone to get vaccinated. And number 3, take over the border. Please tell me at what point are we going to see any success or interest in doing her job, except for being an historic figure. Vice President. She has been terrible. What's worse is when people give you a job, good or bad, do the job. Don't not show up. We are saddled with this leadership, sadly, for almost 3 full years plus. Please, to get anyone competent, report to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They should be hiring.
Wow. Brian Kilmeade, neither one of us has hit a commercial, but we have to hit them at the same time, my friend. Thank you so much. Simulcast with me anytime.
You got it.
Good to see you.
You got it. Thanks, Harris. All right, and what we'll do now is bring in Carly early. Last time we booked Carly, she just stormed into the studio. Normally a big professional. Again, now we have to beg her to come in. In the past, she'll just storm in, because I don't know how they do it at Channel 115 on Sirius. She is now here. Carly Shimkus, it wasn't too long ago when you just stormed in. What happened?
I was afraid of storming in.
You were afraid?
I second-guessed myself and stayed out there longer than I should have. I can't seem to get this right.
It's unbelievable.
Now I gotta plug in my headphones.
Carly, whoever thought we'd be talking about Afghanistan 24 hours a day and still can't feel as though there's enough time to explain, and we can't even do something in retrospect now.
Yeah.
Because it is in real time a disaster, because the airport, now there's reports that Taliban are beginning to use violence against people looking to get out of their terrible range.
Shocker.
And Americans are told not to leave the base to escort Americans to the base.
You know, every veteran that I've spoken to says the same thing. They all say, what did President Biden think was going to happen? And it's really the same kind of comment you hear from police officers when you talk about the defund the police movement. What did they think was going to happen? And that's why I think that part of the conversation surrounding this Afghanistan crisis has been a little odd, because you hear a lot of people caveat it by saying, well, no one's disputing the fact that we should have pulled troops out. It's just the way that President Biden did it. And I'm wondering why we're not disputing that.
Well, I was not happy that the way President Trump was doing it. And Ambassador Khalilzad, how he's leading this.
Yes, I know. And when you really think about what Afghanistan looked like just a few months ago, when you had 2,500 troops there, and there wasn't an American casualty in 18 months, and that thin line of troops is the difference between total chaos, or total stability in the chaos that we're seeing right now. And now we're dealing with the short and long-term ramifications of this. The short-term, everybody's seen it on TV. It's a terrifying situation for Americans. It's a terrifying situation for interpreters. And then the long-term situation is will there be another 9/11? And that's why I never understood why we would want to pull the troops out, because when President Biden talks about, and there's all these, these Pentagon press conferences where they're like, well, we just thought that it would take longer for the Taliban to take over. Okay, the Taliban and Afghanistan are the same thing. So if that is like the good outcome, that it would just take take longer. I'm sorry, that's not the solution. That's not a good solution.
Great point, but you talk about the ineptness, the vice president being not up to the job, and the president. And then I was just handed this story that I thought Harris was going to talk about in the simulcast about the UN ambassador. Did you hear what she said?
No.
When hearing about the atrocities over in...
Oh, yeah.
Strongly worded letter. She goes, I have a strongly worded statement. You want to hear it? I'm not kidding. We are hearing from people in Afghanistan that they're getting threats from the Taliban, and we've expressed in no uncertain terms here at the United Nations, through a very strongly worded statement from the Security Council, that we expect the Taliban to respect human rights, including the rights of women and girls. We also have indicated they should have to be respectful of the humanitarian law, and we do not expect to see the Afghanistan will become a safe haven for terrorists.
Strongly worded statement.
Good.
I agree with that. And that reminds me of something that President Biden said when he did the interview with George Stephanopoulos. He talked about how this situation was inevitable. And of course he's going to say that. That comment is getting a lot of play today. But that's, a cover your butt moment. That's going to be his line. The other thing that he said is if America doesn't get everybody out by August 31st, we're going to assess who is left and then see if we want to keep troops there. Assess who's left? That's not what America does. As a matter of how un-American that comment was. Take a listen.
The ultimate feeling that we have is that we let people behind, and we don't do that. I was out there by myself in a hole about the size or the dimensions of underneath the couch y'all are sitting on, and y'all found me. Okay, y'all sent the entire army to come get me, and we have about, you said 10,000 of us sitting over there? Well, then we need to go get them. Like I said, I've been there, and I was trained, and I was scared. And if they're going to you need to go get them. You need to go get our people.
And that's the lone survivor.
Yeah, that's enough to make anybody, that's enough to make me tear up. It's enough to make, I'm sure, a lot of people feel the emotion of what a lot right now who you believe so strongly in what they did over there. And a lot of nothing, because it was 20 years of stability, but now it's all over.
Yeah, well, from our perspective for now, but they're coming back. So true. I'm so glad you brought me to that soundbite. When we come back, we'll find out if there's more to know. We'll talk more about this.
Expanding your knowledge base. It's Brian Kilmeade on Talk Radio 77 WABC. Have you been putting off life insurance for a while? With the long application process, medical exams, and blood tests, it's no wonder you put it off. It can seem so confusing, expensive, and time-consuming. But Ethos is a new way to buy life insurance. Ethos is built with you in mind. Instead of a medical exam, you only have to answer a few health questions. Our application is 100% online and can be done in about 10 minutes. You might even get same-day coverage. At Ethos, we match you with the right policy and the right price from top-rated carriers, with no medical exams and no blood tests. Now you can spend less time sorting through confusing paperwork and more time with the loved ones you want to protect. Go to ethoslife.com today to apply in minutes. That's ethoslife.com. Ethos Technologies, Inc. operates in some states as Ethos Life Insurance Services. Not available in all states.
Andy Book is now Andy. Whether you need help with routine maintenance or you're planning your dream renovation, Andy connects you with top local pros who can get the job done right. See reviews, compare quotes, and book hundreds of projects. Plus, when you book and pay through Andy, we'll cover your project up to the full purchase price, plus limited damage protection with our happiness guarantee. Check out Andy.com, and for more on the happiness guarantee, go to Andy.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
Looking for a way to pay for that new home improvement you've been waiting for? Ready to consolidate credit card debt at a lower interest rate? Figure offers multiple loan options that can help you improve your finances. From mortgage refinances to home equity lines and personal loans, Figure can help you find the loan that's right for you. Figure takes all the stress and hassle out of the process. Apply 100% online at Figure.com and see your new rate in a few clicks. Figure out your finances at Figure.com. Figure Lending LLC. Equal Opportunity Lender. MLS 171724. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention savvy investors. Are you looking to hedge against inflation? How about the safety and security of a real estate investment without the hassles of being a landlord? Maybe you should cash out of some stock market risk and volatility and takes the money off the table. Instead, receive 10% annualized monthly payouts with bonuses targeted to 21%. NRIA is an industry-leading real estate development firm in its 15th year constructing strategically located, lower-risk, high-demand properties in unique neighborhoods based on supply-demand imbalance. Call 800-800-1414 to start your due diligence. A great fit for safety-oriented investors desiring monthly cash flow and diversification into carefully curated real estate. Learn more about the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Number and read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Paid for by Bar Justice. Attention victims of clergy abuse. If you or a loved one has suffered abuse by a clergy member or a priest, then you must listen to this message. Our attorneys have resolved clergy abuse cases in several states and will provide a private and confidential consultation to finally address this abuse and help you get the compensation you deserve. Since the 1980s, more than $4 billion has been paid out to settle allegations of sexual abuse by clergy members and priests. Our attorneys are experienced in these matters and will fight to get you compensation due to psychological, emotional, and physical abuse by a clergy member or priest. If you are suffering and need help, call our confidential victims helpline now at 800-804-7158. Our legal team has decades of experience in helping individuals just like you, and you'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-804-7158. That's 800-804-7158. Again, 800-804-7158.
Just trying to pour through some of this interview here with President Biden, and to see the most outrageous clips, it's hard to get down to just one. But here is what he was saying about what he knew ahead of time. And Carly, I don't know, we have a job in the morning, so we can't watch ABC. Cut 7.
When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a fair. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me back and put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane, taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off. That was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened. So the question was, in the beginning, the threshold question was, do we commit to leave within the time frame was set? We extended it to September 1st. Or do we put significantly more troops in? I hear people saying, well, you had 2,500 folks in there and nothing was happening. There wasn't any war. But guess what? The fact was that the reason it wasn't happening is the last president negotiated a year earlier that he'd be out by May 1st and that in return there'd be no attack on American forces.
There's a few things wrong with that statement. Number one, there was an average of, since 2014, when President Obama changed the posture, there's been an average of 17 losses. Sadly, we have more losses in military exercises domestically. And then in the last year and a half, 2 years, there's been 0.
Yeah. And that's why I keep on talking about it's a risk-reward scenario, and the risk is pulling troops out. The reward was keeping them there in an area where, thank God, by the grace of God, they're heroes enough to be there in a dangerous situation, but it's to keep stability in the region and also to keep the homeland safe. And the response from President Biden has been really just to shrug his shoulders and say, well, I don't really know what to do right now. During that Pentagon press conference yesterday, there was a reporter who asked either Milley or Lloyd Austin and said, so what's the plan in getting people to the airport? Because you say that, you're sending out these emails that say it's time to come to the airport, but we can't guarantee your security to get there. And there are a lot of people outside Kabul. There's a lot of people in Kabul that can't get to the airport. And then some of the Afghan, they're American citizens, but they're from Afghanistan. They're afraid to show their passports because the Taliban is circling the airport, and if they don't end up getting out, then they're going to have to stay in Afghanistan, and that showing your American passport is a total death sentence. And they know who you are, they know who your family is, and he just. So the question the reporter asked is, can you maybe send American soldiers in Humvees and collect them? That's not, they said, no, we're not going to do that right now.
And I got a report.
How can they know? How can they know that?
And by the way, British are doing it. The British are going to get their people.
Aussies are also trying to do that too.
And we're not, because we don't want to break a deal in our word to the Taliban.
Yeah, because the Taliban's so trustworthy.
Right.
Pretty sure that they're already breaking their word to us.
If you're tired of the story, it's actually going to get worse and bigger. Thanks, Carly Shimkus.
Thank you.
If you're like most people, you're probably more than a little concerned about the state of the world around us today. Strange times. Stock market all-time highs, mostly every day. U.S. debt, never been higher, mostly every day. Dollars losing value except for today. And let's not forget about inflation, the highest since 2008. Remember 2008? So how do you protect your money, your retirement, your savings? Many people, like you, are turning to Old Faithful to protect themselves during the difficult times. Real gold and silver from the Oxford Gold Group, the kind you can actually hold in your hand and have in your IRA. No better time than the present to protect your future and the future of your family. Call Oxford, the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-928-GOLD. They'll send you their free guide on investing in gold and silver and answer all of your questions. So, protect your money before things get even worse out there and more unstable. Call the Oxford Gold Group today. The number, 833-928-GOLD. Oxford Gold. They have gold you can hold to protect your savings and retirement. 833-928-GOLD.
According to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply. 82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Proud to celebrate 100 years as one of America's most influential radio stations and New York's first. And WLIR-FM.
From around the world to around the block, this is the WABC Afternoon News Brief.
Good afternoon. I'm Stephanie Bongiorno, and here's your WABC Afternoon News Brief. Breaking news as U.S. Capitol Police are responding to a suspicious vehicle near the Library of Congress. U.S. Capitol Police are working on the investigation and have labeled it an active bomb threat investigation. Nearby buildings are being evacuated. Police are urging people to avoid the area. We will keep you updated on this breaking news at WABCRadio.com and our social media platforms. U.S. health officials announced on Wednesday that COVID-19 booster shots will be offered beginning on September 20th, once authorized by the Food and Drug Administration. The booster shot is recommended to be taken 8 months after the second dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. More data is coming out on the Johnson & Johnson vaccines, and it is likely that those who have taken the single-dose vaccine will need a booster shot as well. The first to receive the booster shots will include healthcare workers, the elderly, and nursing home residents. President Biden announced Wednesday that nursing home staff will be required to get vaccinated in order to receive federal funding and participate in Medicare and Medicaid. 58.5% of all New Yorkers have completed their vaccine series, and 65.5% of all New Yorkers have at least one dose as of Wednesday, according to the CDC. President Biden sat down with ABC News' George Stephanopoulos for an interview Wednesday to discuss the crisis in Afghanistan. Biden stated that he is determined to get all Americans and allies out of Afghanistan by August 31st. there is an estimated 10,000 to 15,000 Americans and 50,000 to 65,000 Afghans and their families that are waiting to escape the country. If there are any Americans or allies still in Afghanistan after the August 31st deadline, the U.S. troops will remain in the country until everyone is evacuated. Country singer Garth Brooks has canceled the remaining dates on his 2021 tour. Garth Brooks stated that the pandemic was the reason for the cancellation. 5 shows in total have been canceled, with the dates ranging from September through October, and 1 show that was originally going to be in July has been canceled as well. Garth Brooks plans to reschedule when the pandemic lessens. T-Mobile announced on Tuesday that it had a data breach exposing tens of millions of customers' personal data. The exposed data included names, social security numbers, driver's license information, and T-Mobile account PINs. Financial information does not appear to have been obtained. T-Mobile is offering 2 years of theft protection for free. T-Mobile also recommends either setting up or changing the PIN on the account. T-Mobile has since launched a website that provides information on how to protect yourself from cybersecurity threats and explains what they are doing to protect their customers. The health department is investigating cases of Legionnaire's disease in central Harlem after 9 people have been diagnosed with the disease since August 9th. According to health officials, the 9 individuals have been hospitalized. 7 of the 9 are at the age of 50 years or older. Legionnaire's disease is not contagious and can be treated with antibiotics when caught early. A virtual community meeting is planned for today from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now from the Ramsey Monster Weather Center, mostly cloudy today with a light rain this morning. With a high of 87, the low tonight will go down to 73. Tomorrow, expect a mainly cloudy day with a chance of a possible shower or thunderstorm with a high of 86. Right now, it's 81 degrees. That's your WABC Afternoon News Brief. A WABC traffic and transit report is next. I'm Stephanie Bongiorno, and remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Greg Kelly here for Monetary Gold. Are you prepared for higher taxes, less benefits, and money overall? If Biden eliminates tax deductions for contributions to your retirement accounts, is your portfolio protected? If he raises corporate taxes, the stock market comes down. What are your plans? Beat socialism with gold. For a limited time, Monetary Gold is giving up to $5,000 in free gold and silver for all new qualified accounts. Call for your free gold guide.
Thank you, everybody. We're gonna switch to Lambo after we go to some meeting. See you later.